this online course.
This course is being offered absolutely free of cost to ensure that it reaches all those in need, irrespective of social and economic circumstances.
Also, through these courses, we want to achieve our vision to help and improve lives of 1 million people.
So please feel free to like and share the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Wish you all the very best and happy learning. Hi and welcome to Certified Course on Emotional Intelligence. Free course on self-awareness, managing stress and managing emotions. These three are among the top 10 life skills identified by World Health Organization. Let's start this course with a quote which goes, "Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible. Suddenly you will realize that you are doing the impossible." Let us start by understanding the session plan. We will start the course with introduction and objectives of this course. Then we will move on to self-awareness. Then we will get into managing stress. One of the most important techniques or skills you need to develop in order to manage stress is time management. Then we will understand what is emotional intelligence, how to develop it. We will understand certain tools and techniques you can use for developing your emotional quotient. There will be a very interesting activity called self-reflection, where we will go through all that we have learned. Finally, I'll brief you the exercise or case study required to be done for certification of this course. We will end the course with summary, queries and feedback. Certified course on emotional intelligence is a very comprehensive course on EQ, or you can say emotional intelligence, with the following key objectives: to help learners cope or manage with their stress and emotions, to help the viewers develop more self-awareness, and to help learners apply the techniques of time management and manage time more effectively. Overall, the objective from this course is to ensure that the learners would be able to manage their emotions and stress more effectively by applying the techniques and the learnings from this course, also manage their time more effectively. Let's now get into the first session of this course, self-awareness. One of the top 10 life skills, also very important for you to be self-aware in order to be emotionally intelligent. So what do you mean by self-awareness? There are different levels of awareness which you can develop personally for your own self. One, awareness of your body. Okay, so when I say awareness of body, you should be well aware of the pains, the strength of your body, everything related to your body, what is going on. Okay, to give you a very simple example, if I suddenly ask you how much push-ups can you do, now your body has to cooperate with you in order to do push-ups, right? Are you aware of your own strength? Are you aware how many push-ups you can do at this point? Now that's the awareness of body. Second, awareness of your mind. Now this I call it as intellectual awareness. Again, what are your strengths and weaknesses? For example, what do you mean by intellectual awareness? There are certain subjects where you are very good at, for instance. Maybe some of you are very good in mathematics, science, those kind of subjects. Some of you might be very good at theoretical subjects. Some of you might be good in arts. All of us are unique, right? So you should know for yourself what you are good at and where you need a little bit of improvement. That's the awareness of mind. Third level is awareness of your emotions. What kind of a person you are? Are you a person who's highly emotional? Do you display emotions very quickly? Are you a person who's a kind of introverted person, don't who do not mix with people, what kind of emotions run within your mind. Now that's very important for you to know. That's something which is called awareness of emotions. Now the topmost level is awareness of your purpose. Now 1 body, 2 mind, 3 emotions, and 4 purpose. Now purpose is something which is defining who you really are. For example, I think the purpose of me as a human being is to make sure that I give the knowledge to as many people as possible. Now, that's why I am in this profession of training and development. I meet a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people, I spread the knowledge and help people in their personal and professional lives. Like this, all of us should be aware of what is the purpose of our existence. Now, this is not just a very simple goal or vision, but to be aware of what you really mean. What is the most important intent for which you are here on this world? Okay. Now, this is also a little bit to do with spirituality. Let us not get into that detail. But yes, when you talk about awareness of your body, mind, and emotions, you should definitely be aware of your strengths, weaknesses. Now, this is also important when you are answering questions in your interview, for instance. Interviewer might ask you what are your top 3 strengths and weaknesses. It is not very easy to talk about your own strengths and weaknesses if you have not worked on it. So be aware of your top 3 strengths, also your top 3 weaknesses, so that you can work on it and improve yourself. Now let us get into one very interesting activity called Johari window to understand your self-awareness. This activity was founded by 2 psychologists, Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingham, and that's why the name has been given as Johari window. You will see 56 adjectives on your screen right now. You can pause the screen on the 56 adjectives, take your time and identify top 5 adjectives with which you identify yourself. That means, which are those top 5 adjectives which best defines you as a person. Now, once that is done, you will have to go and show the same 56 adjectives to someone whom you really trust. It can be your mother, father, better half, brother, sister, or anyone. Ask them to give some good time, go through each and every adjective and give 5 adjectives that matches you as an individual as per that person. Now the main agenda here is you should not question, you should not ask why are you giving this adjective to me. Whatever he or she says, just make a note of those 5 adjectives and come back. Once you are done with this, you will have to make a 4x4 grid and name the grids as 1, 2, 3 and 4 and put the overall 10 adjectives which you have right now in those 4 grids. I'll tell you how. The first grid is known as open self. Those adjectives which you identified for yourself and which the other person also told about you, all those common things in the 2 lists will go to open self. Next comes blind self. That means those adjectives which the other person told about you but you did not say about yourself, all those will come in the blind self. Third is the hidden self. That means all the adjectives which you told you about yourself but the other person did not identify will come in the hidden self. And the 4th quadrant or the unknown self will be blank. Let me now explain what this entire Johari window means. Any person who is most self-aware will have the biggest window as the open self. Okay? Now open self is something which you know about yourself and also the other people know about you. In order for you to call yourself a highly self-aware person, you should be like an open book. You should know all things about yourself and the people with you should also know those things about you. Blind self are those which other people know about you for sure but you don't know about yourself. For instance, there could be your friend who's telling that you are a very introverted person. Maybe you never thought about it. You never thought that you are an introvert. Now these things are called as blind self. It is like in the college, someone pastes something on the back of someone. He doesn't know about it. The entire college knows. Now that's called a blind self. Coming to the hidden self. Hidden self is something which you are sure about you, but the world doesn't know about it. Right? Now it's like I give example of Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Peter Parker knows that he is Spider-Man, but the entire world doesn't know about it. Now that's a hidden self of that person. Last but not the least, unknown self is something which other people also doesn't know about you. You yourself also do not know. Now I said in order for you to be the most self-aware person, your open self should be the biggest. How to make it big? One, you have to push this wall and reduce your blind self. This wall has to come down and you have to reduce your hidden self. In order to reduce your blind self, please ask for feedback. This is very, very important in everyone's life, asking for feedback. And when you ask, do not question. Whatever the feedback is coming to you, good, bad or ugly, accept it with full open arms in order for you to improve yourself. That's how you can reduce your blind self. Coming to hidden self, how can you reduce your hidden self? Very simple, start expressing. Now this is called feed forward. Now I am a very good communicator. I know about myself, but I have no one around me knows about it. So how should I make sure that everyone knows? Start communicating. Now that's feed forward or expressing. The more you express, you will reduce your hidden self. Fourth quadrant, right now in this activity you kept it blank and there was nothing, right? Unknown self is a big quadrant in all of our lives where there are many things about us which we don't know and others also don't know. How to reduce it? Explore. The more you explore things in life, you will say, for example, I'll give you an example for you to make it very clear. Maybe you're a very adventurous person, you don't know. Try some adventurous things, maybe bungee jumping or skydiving or deep sea diving, something. So once you do it, you might understand that yes, I'm a very adventurous person, I like this. That's how you come to know more and more about yourself, and once you start expressing, others also will come to know about that. So I'll repeat, open self, the more you express yourself, the more you are self-aware, your open self gets bigger. In order to reduce your blind self, ask for feedback. In order to reduce your hidden self, express. And in order to reduce your unknown self, explore as much as possible. Whatever opportunities you get, don't just shy away and not do it. Go ahead, take that opportunity, try it out. Who knows, you might explore something new about yourself. Now let us understand some ways through which you can improve your self-awareness. Awareness of your body, mind, emotions as well as your purpose. One, as I told in the activity of Johari window also, ask for a lot of feedback. Feedback or criticism is always good, okay? There is no bad feedback. Good feedback will make you feel good. Bad feedback will help you improve yourself. Number two, self-reflection. Keep reflecting on the work you are doing. It can be talking to someone, it can be any work you are doing, okay? It can even be some work which you are doing on your own. Keep reflecting. How did you do that work? Self-reflection is a big way to increase your self-awareness. We will do an activity of self-reflection also in the end of the course. Number three, question yourself and your decisions. We always carry some kind of a bias when we have made some decisions. We don't want to agree that we are wrong. Never do that. Keep questioning yourself and the decisions you have taken. Many times, just by questioning, you might end up in finding out that there is a better way to do the thing or to address that particular issue or problem. Number four, spend some quality me time. Now, when I say me time, it's very simple. You should spend your time with your own self. You can choose any time of the day, it doesn't matter, but you have to make sure that you are only spending that time with you and no one else. Now I find this me time, you might find it very funny, but when I use the washroom in the morning, I spend a good amount of time in the washroom to spend that me time. I get a lot of ideas, I get a lot of I don't know, any issue I'm facing in my work, I get solutions when I'm just there with me. find a time where you can spend time with yourself so that many things about you, it can be your strength, weakness, some issues which you are facing, for everything you'll find some answer, and also you'll develop self-awareness. Last but not the least, meditation. Now, when I say meditation, a lot of my students or my learners usually ask me, sir, I don't get time to meditate. Now, for this particular session I am doing, I should definitely give the credit to two people. One, Sadhguru of Isha Foundation. Okay, so I have taken that online course of inner engineering, and I do Aum meditation myself. It gives me a lot of peace, and it gives me a lot of me time. And also Mr. Subramani Sarode, who's a meditation coach. So he says that don't do meditation, be in meditation. That means you can meditate in any situation, any time of the day. It doesn't require a special time to meditate. That's what Mr. Subramani says. Now, I'm not saying that you can go to that extent right now, but meditation or simple Om meditation is very, very easy to do. Okay, let me give you a small demonstration so that you understand and start doing it. Now, in a technical people would know that there are three colors, R, G and B, that is red, green and blue, which are called the base colors. Even in the television, these are the only three colors which are there, and mixing these two colors gives millions of other colors which we can see around. Similarly, the three basic sounds which give all the other sounds which we can hear are A, U and M. Now, A, U, M, these are the three small sounds which you can make without moving your tongue. That means even a dumb person can make these three sounds, A, U, M. You can try it out. Now, these are the three sounds which when mixed together in different permutation and combination gives all the sounds which we can hear. Now, these are called universal sounds. Okay. Now, Om meditation, now some people think that Om is very religious, or it is pertaining to one religion or something. It is not like that. Now, as Sadhguru says, in Christianity, after the prayer they say Amen, Aum. Everywhere those three letters Aum comes out. Okay, so it is not religious. There is a particular science behind it. Now, how to do Om meditation? It's very simple. Sit somewhere where you are comfortable. The only condition here is you should not strain your legs or hands or shoulders or anything. Sit in a very comfortable position. It can be sitting on a chair or on the floor with your legs crossed, however it is. You can probably keep your hands like this, okay, reverse, and relax your hands on your lap. Your hand should be very free, it should not be stiff, but this should be very stiff, okay, facing upwards. So once you are in this position, just close your eyes and you'll have to chant A as long and as deep as possible, then U, then Now, when you are saying A, you can feel the vibration in your navel position. Okay, it's very, very evident. You can, when you close your eyes and say, it's very, very evident. You can make out that the vibrations are starting from here and it will move towards your lower portion of your body. When you say U, the vibrations are here in the center of your chest, and when you say the vibrations will start from somewhere here, and it is usually going all through your head and it will end at the end of your nose. Now, through that you can feel the vibrations in your entire body, as well as, by the way, when you meditate, it is not necessary that you don't think anything else but focus on something. That's where you feel very stressed out. Okay, let the thoughts come in, just focus on the sounds. When you focus on that, automatically after some time all your thoughts will go off and your complete attention will be on the sounds and the vibration it is creating. So you can do, to start with, first 7 A, 7 U, 7 Ms and 21 Aums. Okay, so I'll do once for the demonstration purpose. I hope you were able to get how it is to be done. It's a very simple but powerful practice. See, just by saying it 3 times, I was able to experience that kind of a calmness and peace. I'm sure if you start practicing it every day, it will take hardly 10 to 20 minutes maximum. Okay, the basic numbers which I have given, 7, 7, 7 and 21. So start practicing. It will also help you to increase your self-awareness and to manage with your stress and emotions. Now let us get into the second session of this course, managing stress. To begin with, let's define what is stress. Stress is the physical, mental and emotional response to the external events that causes bodily and mental tension. Simply put, it is any kind of outside force which has an effect on our body and mind. That's stress. Correct? Now when you say that this is caused by outside force, most of the times, how can you control it? Always remember, we don't use the term control, but we use the term manage. Anything which is not in our control can be managed, right? Now, television. Why do we call it a remote control? Because we can control television, right? We can increase the volume, reduce the volume, change the channel, switch it off. Robots can be controlled. Human beings cannot. That's why it is management. Okay? Human resource management, HRM. Time, is it in our hands? No. Whether we use it or not, it's just moving, right? It is moving from our account, if you think. That's why we should manage our time. Similarly, stress, because most of the time it's caused by external factors which you cannot control, you can manage or cope with your stress. See, in our lives we have a lot of expectations and we have some resources. Now, stress can be defined as a balance between these two things. Now, what can be the expectations? Okay, you might expect that you have to finish your project within the deadline. You expect that you spend a lot of time with your family. You expect that you reduce your weight. There are a lot of expectations from ourselves, right? Now, that's all your self expectations. There are certain resources which are there for everyone. It can be salary or money, it can be the infrastructure like other resources, it can be your time. All these are resources. When there is a perfect balance between the expectations and resources, probably the stress level is fine. But when expectations are heavier than the resources you have in hand, obviously you will have stress. It's very simple. You have an expectation to reach office on time. You have certain resources. You don't have your own two-wheeler or four-wheeler. You have to depend on, say, public transportation like metro or bus. Because of the lockdown, you are not getting enough number of buses or public transportation in your route. Now, your resources are not okay or enough to fulfill your expectations. You come under a lot of stress. Probably you have a back of your head, you have that if I reach late to my office, I'll get scoldings from my boss. I might have to go through a lot of issues with my colleagues and so on. It causes stress. Now, this is also a way you can define stress. Now, there are different signs of stress. How do you make out that you have stress, correct? The signs can be either physical, caused in your body, or mental, which is caused in your mind. Which are the physical signs of stress? Signs like, say for instance, headache, neck ache, backache. Okay, any aches in your body is one of the physical signs of stress. Other physical signs can be fatigue. You are very tired. You are not able to, be in your full activity. You are tired. That fatigue is also one of the physical signs of stress. Some people have dark circles around their eyes. Correct. Now that's also a sign of stress. Not everyone will have dark circles. Someone going through some kind of physical or emotional stress will come up with dark circles. Uh, some other physical signs are something like increased heartbeat, sleep deprivation. All these are physical signs. Now, what are the mental signs of stress? Difficulty in concentrating. You want to concentrate on something but you are not able to. Okay, now that's a psychological sign of stress. increased errors. If someone is working on, say, typing some letter, normally if they make 2 out of 100, 2% of errors, when they are stressed out, they might make 10 or 15 errors. Now that's also a psychological sign of stress. Poor decision making and poor judgment. When you are in stress, your decisions will be completely wrong. So normally we say take a break before taking some important decisions in your life when you are stressed out. Also, poor judgment. Now I give this example. Why do people say, or the government say, do not drink and drive? So when someone consumes alcohol, the ability to judge is down. Okay, mentally you are under a lot of stress which you cannot see. Though you might think that drinking will reduce your stress, mind or psychologically you are under a lot of stress. That's why there is a poor judgment which will happen. So if you are driving or riding after consuming alcohol, you might not be able to judge the distance between your vehicle and the next vehicle or some other obstruction. That's why the possibility of accident is much more higher. So all these are your mental signs of stress. So when you are stressed out, it will show up either in your physical or your mental signs. Now let's understand, is stress bad? Now we said there are so many things which are wrong about stress, correct? It causes headache, it causes body pain, it causes fatigue, difficulty in concentration, so many negative things. But is the stress bad? No. The answer is no. Stress is not bad, stress is very, very good. Look at the graph which will come on your screen now. As you can see, if you do not have any stress or no stress, your performance is absolutely down. Similarly, if you have too much of stress, again your performance comes down. Now, no stress or distress, both are not good for your performance. But there is a level of stress where your performance is at the peak, okay? Now, that level of stress is called as Eustress, okay? Now, that is the optimum level of stress where an individual's performance level is at its maximum. So, please remember, stress is not bad. If you have optimum amount of stress, it will end up in giving you much more performance than you might do without a stress or too much of stress. Just to give you an example, let's take exams for students. If the student is absolutely carefree, doesn't have any tension, zero, okay, the chances are very high that he might not perform well in the exam. There are few students who are under too much of stress for an exam. Their exam fear will take over them like anything. Again, the chances are that they will not perform good in their exams because they might even forget what they have already learned, okay, just because they are under stress. But if you have that optimum level of stress, right, and that differs from person to person. If you have that optimum level of stress, it is very good and it will end up you doing a very good performance in your exams. Similarly, for me, for example, I am a public speaker, I train people, right? If I have got a new project, I have to train in the evening. And if I have absolutely no stress about it, the probability is that I'll do a very bad show. If I'm too much stressed out, I might completely goof up the program. But if I have that optimum level of stress, I'll make sure that I prepare well and deliver an absolutely amazing program to my learners. That's called Eustress. How do you manage stress? Now let us understand few techniques to manage stress. It's very easy to remember. You can remember as MTAP, okay? Managing, okay? Tap to regulate or cope with your stress. M, you can think of M as managing. So MTAP, M-T-A-P, okay? But I have put it based on the priority. It is T-A-P-M when I am explaining, but you can remember it as MTAP for your easy reference. So what is T? T stands for time management. Time management and stress management actually go hand in hand. If someone is not managing his or her time well, they will be really under a lot of stress. So we will understand in detail about time management in the next session. But for now, please remember, to manage your stress, time management plays a very important role. Next is A. A stands for assertiveness. Go back to the course on effective communication, that is certified course on effective communication, to understand the different styles of communication. If you remember, we had talked about passive aggressive, aggressive and assertive style of communication. You need to be very assertive in order to manage your stress levels. Develop assertive style of communication. Number 3, P. P stands for physical exercises like breathing, pranayama, or you go and lift your weights, you run, you jog. All these physical exercises will help you manage your stress. Every single day out of 24 hours, dedicate at least 20 minutes of your time, 20 minutes to 30 minutes on physical exercises. Very important. I'm not saying you have to do certain kind of exercises. It all depends on your age, situation, etc. Even walking is fine, or if you are you want to, you're a health enthusiast, you want to build your muscles, you can go to a gym and exercise, or you can do a home gym, whatever it is. Spend those 20 to 30 minutes on physical exercise. Last but not the least, M. M stands for mental relaxation techniques like you can listen to music. That's also a mental relaxation method, right? Meditation, which we just saw in the last session, that's also a technique to mentally relax yourself. So these things, if you plan in your life well, you can absolutely easily manage your stress amazingly well. That is, you can have a tap in your hand in order to manage your stress levels. Just to sum up, MTAP, there are 4 techniques which are very important for you to manage your stress. Mental relaxation techniques like meditation, listening to music, watching a series or something like that. T, time management. A, assertive communication or assertiveness. And P, physical exercises like breathing, pranayama, running, walking, lifting some weights, push-ups, sit-ups, and so on. Now let us understand one most important technique or tool to manage your stress, which is time management. As I have already told, in order to manage your stress, time management plays a very important role. Now, time management doesn't teach you to work hard and long working hours, okay? It is a means to actually work smart and achieve much more than what you achieve from hard work in much lesser time and more efficiently. There are many advantages of time management. I would like to list top 3 advantages for sure. It will make you more efficient, definitely, in whatever work you are doing, okay? Same amount of time you can achieve more, or in less amount of time you can achieve the same things. That's efficiency. Number 2, you'll be more successful. Look at any successful people around, okay? You look at your own inspirational persons. All of them will definitely be good time managers. No one can become successful without managing their time really well. Number 3, healthy. Health and time management, how is it related? You look at, for example, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If you look at his time schedule, you'll be amazed. He probably sleeps for around 4-5 hours a day, and entire day is packed with so much of work, but still he is very healthy. Now you can think, how can a man who does so much of work be healthy? Trust me, the people who are managing their time really well, they end up being more healthy than people who are doing less of work with absolutely poor time management. So these are the top 3 benefits of time management. Efficiency, it will make you successful, and of course you will be more healthy. We do this activity in one of the campus to corporate programs which I do. It's very interesting. If you divide the entire week into number of hours and start thinking, how is that I spend my entire week? You take the maximum number of hours for sleep, okay? I'm not saying you should sleep very less, like 4 or 5 hours a day. Even if you take 8 hours, which is absolutely sufficient for a grown-up individual, 8 into 7, you'll get a number. You keep that aside. So that amount of time, that is 1/3 of your entire week, you are sleeping. Even if you give another 2 hours for your daily course, okay, another 8 hours for your work life, another 1 hour for your daily travel, you do everything and finally see, even if you think you are very busy, you will still be left with good amount of time which is absolutely free time. Now I have taken into consideration everything here: sleep, eating, daily course, traveling, work, everything, but still you'll be left with good amount of free time every week. Now that's the fun of it. We never think like this. So the moment you start thinking like this and making uh, schedule of the entire week, you'll understand that we are left with a lot of time. Time is the only resource which is equally available for richest person like Jeff Bezos to the poorest person in the world. Everyone has the same amount of time, 24 hours per day. It's all about how he or she manages their work within those 24 hours, which will make them productive. And in turn, of course, some people are really rich and some people are poor. So let's understand different techniques to manage your time really well. Before we start with the techniques to manage time, let's understand few barriers to time management. When you understand which are the barriers which are not allowing you to manage your time well, you can try to avoid them and start becoming more time efficient, right? So let's understand few barriers. The topmost barrier to time management is unclear objectives. If you are not sure about what is your target, okay, it can be in your workplace. If your KRIs are not set, for example, you don't know what is your ultimate objective in that particular role, you cannot manage your time well. It's taken, okay. So unclear objectives. It can even be in personal life. Morning you get up, you don't have any target or goal for the day, you tend to waste a lot of time. Number two, disorganization. A very big barrier to time management. There are a lot of examples. One of my friends, every single day used to waste at least 10 minutes before going to the college to search the keys of his two-wheeler. Now there is a place to keep the key, right? Keep it there and you will find it. It's a simple technique of organizing which will help you to manage your time, but just because he was not organized for books, for bag, for tie, for ID card, for keys, every time he used to waste a lot of time. Number three, inability to say no. Just because we are not able to say no to a lot of people, we tend to waste a lot of time. Now this inability can also be a big barrier to your time management. Interruptions can also act as a barrier. You can't help it, right? So I have a 4-year-old kid at home. So he comes and interrupts me in a lot of my work. Now, can you absolutely remove it from your routine? Not possible, right? Interruptions are always there and sometimes it acts as barrier to time management. Periods of inactivity. Always if you observe, there are some period of time in your day where you are absolutely inactive. I am not talking about sleeping, okay? Sleeping is a very important activity. I am talking about that time where you are not doing anything. You are not watching TV, you are not thinking, you are not doing anything. You can take an example of traveling from your home to office in a cab. There are some times where you are not even looking at your phone, just sitting, okay? That's a period of inactivity. If you have too much of it, it can act as a barrier to time management. Multitasking. Now people even add multitasking as a strength in their resume. I say multitasking is not true. If you do too much of multitasking, you end up wasting a lot of time, not being able to manage any of the work you are doing really well. Focus on one task at a time. Stress and fatigue. Even if you want to manage your time, sometimes you are so stressed out, so tired that you will not be able to manage time. Another barrier to time management. Last but not the least, all work and no play. Some people are so workaholic that they only and only focus on their work. They forget about their personal life, family life, and that's not a good sign. Okay? You might think that I am doing a lot of work, but it will not help you to manage your time well. Even a person like our Prime Minister, he can't only be doing his work, he has to give his time for his yoga, health, family. He has to do everything, even in between the hectic schedule that he is carrying. Similarly, all of us, okay, we don't just work all the time, give good amount of time for your personal life as well. Now let's get into some techniques to manage time. It's very, very easy to remember. POGA, okay, POGA. 4 techniques and you are done. You can be a very good time manager. P stands for prioritization, O for organization, G for goal setting, and A for assertiveness. Let me start with the first technique of prioritization. We all do prioritization in our lives. of all the tasks we have to do. But do we use some method to do that? This is the only way you can prioritize. The way I am telling you right now, you might be aware of it or you might be not be aware, and you are just doing without the knowledge of it. All of us prioritize based on only two things: urgency and importance. Okay? There are tasks which are very urgent and important, both. Now these are called high priority tasks. There are some tasks which are high on urgency, low on importance, or high on importance and low on urgency. Now these two types of tasks are called medium priority tasks, and there are a lot of tasks in our day-to-day lives which are low on urgency and low on importance, but still we do it. Now these are the low priority tasks. Once you know that this is how you prioritize high, medium and low, you should also know what to do with these tasks. Okay, it's very simple. There are 4 D's which you can do. For high priority tasks, urgent and important, do it. D-O, do it now, do it yourself. Okay, most important, high priority. Coming to those tasks which are very urgent but not important. Now tasks like picking a phone, someone is calling me right now, I have to pick this call, otherwise within 1 minute it will be disconnected. Very urgent, maybe that's not important as the work I am doing right now. Delegate, okay? For all the tasks which are urgent and not important, delegate it to someone so that that is also taken care of. For those tasks which are very important but not urgent, maybe paying the fees of my child is a very important activity, not urgent, I have still 1 month to go. Delay it. Again another D. Delay those kind of activities. And last, not urgent, not important, delete. As much as possible from your routine, try to delete those activities which are not urgent, not important. Activities like simply switching the channels of the TV or social media. Okay. Now I am not saying all the time all activities can be standardly categorized as low, medium or high. If you are very tired, stressed out and you are just browsing your social media for relaxation, then it also becomes a high priority task. Watching TV cannot be always a low priority task. Daily if you are keeping around half an hour, 1 hour for relaxation, it again becomes high priority. Sleep. Some people say it is low, high or medium, just like that you can't. If you are sleeping for say 7 hours, let's not take 8 or very less like 6, 7 hours is good amount of sleep for an adult. If you are sleeping more than 7 hours, the extra sleep all that time will become your low priority activity, but 7 hours per day is very high priority task. I hope you understand the concept of prioritization. Now let us understand the second technique of time management, which is organization. When it comes to organizing, the best method we have ever come across is 5S. It is a Japanese workplace organization methodology. All the 5 S's stand for 5 words and which are in Japanese, which means Seiri, Seiton, Shizo, Shiketsu and Shitsuke. Doesn't matter what is the Japanese terms, but let's understand the same in English. In English, the 5 terms are sort, stabilize, shine, standardize and sustain. First things first, what is sort? When we have many things to organize, we need to sort them. How do you sort? It can be sorted based on the things which we use most of the times, the things which we use rarely, and the things which we probably will never use or very rarely we will use. So this is how you can sort the items. Second step is stabilization. What do you mean by stabilize is you have to name the items where you have to keep it. This is normally done in assembly plants and manufacturing plants. You can also do it in your home, like you can name the jars of tea, sugar, coffee, etc. Now that's called stabilize. Third stage is shine, which is regular cleaning. You have to ensure that all the items, it can be clothes in your cupboard or books in your shelf or items in your kitchen, make sure you are doing a regular cleaning. Fourth step is standardization. So once all these things are done, that is sorting, stabilizing and shining, make sure you standardize all those things. In companies, they'll have policies of standardization, that is regular audits. There'll be a 5S champion in the department and so on. At home, you can make a standard practice of checking all these things, maybe weekly or monthly or something like that. Now that's called standardization. Last step is sustaining all the steps we have already done. It is not enough that you do it once and leave it. You have to keep doing it again and again in order to be organized all the time. Now I said 5S is a workplace organization technique. So that's used in plants, manufacturing units, in offices. Very easily that can be applied to our homes and our workplaces as well. So let's all understand this technique of 5S and implement it in order to be really organized. Another technique of organization, or the first stage of 5S, sorting. So how do you sort? I said depending on the usage. Now for that we have one more technique called VED, or vital, essential, desirable. In other terms, you also can call it as must, should and could. Now because we are talking about organization, let's talk about vital, essential, desirable. When you go to give your two-wheeler or four-wheeler to service, you just go there, tell the problems and hand it over for service. But what happens after that? The mechanic comes and checks everything. He also sees the complaints which are given by you, and he probably lists down some of the spare parts which are required. Then he goes to the store and hands that particular list in order to get the spare parts. If you observe the store which is there of a car or bike service showroom, it's a huge store because there are so many models, and in every model there are thousands of spare parts. So the store is basically very big. But still, and the store is usually manned by one or maximum two, not even two, always one person. Sometimes it's even a female. She might not know technically about the bike or the car also, but the time with which she can give all these spares to the mechanic, it's just, she should take around 3 to 5 minutes maximum, even if he has asked for around 5 to 10 different spare parts. That's the magic of sorting. The way the spare parts are sorted in the entire store is based on VED, that is vital, essential, desirable. Just to give you an example, in a bike, what will be the spare parts which are very vital, which are very commonly asked for? Items like indicator, items like clutch cable, brake pad. Now these are very normally used spare parts. Now that will be kept very accessible. Next comes the essential items, which are not as regularly used as vital items, but will be asked for. Things like probably the disc brake, okay. Maybe some of the items like the seat cover, very rarely used, but yeah, it's also asked. Now that's kept probably in the shelves in the back. There are a few items which are desirable. Now the desirable are those items which are good to keep, but it is okay if you don't have in the store also. Some items like the petrol tank, for instance. One bike's petrol tank, how many times will a bike come with a damaged petrol tank? Very rare. Now these kind of items are kept somewhere in the behind the office or in the top shelf where it is not that easily accessible, because it's very rarely asked. Because of this method of VED, vital, essential, desirable, they are able to sort the items very well. The same method is used in libraries, in bookstores, in pharmacies, right? They are very quick in terms of retrieving the items and giving you. Why not use the same sorting technique in our personal lives also? It can be your workspace, it can be your cupboard, it can be the bookshelf where you are keeping your books. Make sure you are using VED analysis and get organized to save your time. The next technique to manage time is goal setting. Goal is very important in everyone's life. I said unclear objectives is the topmost barrier to time management. It's not only enough that you have goals, all of us will have it, right? But it is very important that the goals are SMART. SMART. Now every letter is a feature of your goal statement. What does it mean? The goal statement should be specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, relevant or realistic, and time bound. Let me explain this with an example. So if you want to, for example, reduce your weight by around 10 kilos. Now that's a goal. I'm taking a very simple example so that you can all connect. You can write a goal statement saying, I want to reduce 10 kgs of weight. Now, is it smart? If you think it is specific, you are very clear on reducing 10 kilos, you can make it more specific though. Is it measurable? Yes, if you weigh your weight now and after your goal is attained, you can see that you have reduced 10 kilos, measurable. Is it achievable 10 kilos? You don't know because you have not said by when you want to do it, okay? Is it realistic or relevant? If you are a person who's health enthusiast, you want to reduce your weight, yes, it is relevant or realistic. Is it time bound? The answer is no. Now, if any one of the feature is also missing in the statement, it is not smart. So, how can you make this statement a smart goal statement? I want to reduce my weight by 10 kilos from 70 kgs to 60 kgs by regular exercise and proper diet within 31st October 2020. Now this statement is very smart, okay? It is not just enough to have smart goals. Write it down somewhere. Written goals means commitment. Please ensure that you write your goals so that you are committed to it. Not just that, plan for it. Once you have written your goals, see what are the kind of resources you need to achieve them. Plan for it, get all of them. Plan every day, okay? What you need to do today to achieve that particular goal. And goals can be short, medium or long term depending on the duration of time. So ensure that you have goals both professional and personal, okay? When you are working, you should have professional goals. You can also call it key result areas or KRAs. Even in your personal life, have your personal goals. Maintain a daily task sheet to list all the items you need to do today before you start your day so that you know what you are supposed to do on that particular day in order to, of course, achieve your short, medium and long term goals. Hope I am able to clarify goal setting for you. I am not taking you through very in-depth session. I am just giving you a brief introduction here. Make sure you set your goal so that you don't waste your precious time and you are able to manage your time effectively. Now let me come to the last technique in time management, which is assertiveness. See, when we communicate with others, we can have 3 or 4 different styles of communication. One extreme is passive or submissive style of communication, where you basically don't care whether you win or lose. You are okay to lose, you let the other person win. Always that is a kind of mindset when you are talking in a passive or submissive style of communication. There is one more style called passive aggressive. Now that's actually very dangerous because you will not be able to judge people based on their behavior what they are intending to do. Passive aggressive is I lose, you lose kind of a mindset. I will definitely lose the argument or discussion, but I will ensure that you will also lose. That is the kind of people with passive aggressive style of communication. The other extreme is aggressive communication. Aggressive people are very clear that they have to win in every situation. I'll ensure that you lose, but I will win. I win, you lose is the aggressive style of communication. But the most effective way or style of communication for any individual in any situation is assertive communication. Now, assertive communication is collaboration, or you can call it I win, you win mindset. Win-win mindset. Even in negotiation, we say have a collaborative style of negotiation. Now, assertive communication is nothing but you communicate what you need to say, what you want to say to the other person, but ensure that the other person is also not offended. It's a very important for all of us to learn to be assertive in order to manage our times also. If you remember, I said the inability to say no becomes a barrier to time management. So assertiveness, you'll be able to say no if the answer is no. Just to give you an example, okay, if someone is just coming to me and shouting on me for no reason, if I'm a passive person, I might just keep quiet and take everything. If I'm a passive aggressive person, I might behave very differently at that point, but keep the grudge in my mind to take revenge on that person. If I am an aggressive person, I might hit back on that person and start shouting. how can you talk to me like this? I'll give left, right and center. I'll be very aggressive. Okay. Now what is the assertive communication style? This guy comes to me and he starts shouting for no reason. He doesn't know that the fault is not mine. He thinks that I am at fault and he starts to shout at me. I keep quiet for some time till the time he calms down, and then I start and say, see boss, I understand that you think I have done something wrong. In this case, definitely I am not the person in fault, so this is what had happened. I hope you understand. Please don't shout at me like this. I don't deserve it because I have not done anything like this. Now when you say this, you are making sure that your point is heard. At the same time, you are not making the other person offended also. He'll understand his fault. He'll probably come and apologize to you, if not now, after some time. And the communication is going to be very, very effective. So develop win-win or assertive style of communication. Now let us get into the next session, which is emotional intelligence. See, let's understand what is more important. There was a time when PQ or physical quotient was given a lot of importance. If you watch movies like 300 or Troy, you'll understand that the army with the more men with more strength would be considered as the strongest or the most powerful. So physical quotient was given a lot of importance. Few years later, now human beings started to realize that physicality is fine. It's okay to have a less of physical strength, but you should have a lot of intelligence. That's the time when a lot of inventors like Newton, Galileo, all these people came up and they had a huge IQ, intelligence quotient. Time passed and around 50 to 100 years back, a century back, people started to realize even people with high IQ fail in their real life because they are not able to manage their emotions well. Now that's when people started to realize that EQ or emotional quotient is much more higher in the value chain and it is more important than IQ. You can survive with a less of IQ and PQ, but if you are very low on your emotional quotient, it becomes very difficult to survive. You can take corporate examples, your personal and professional, any example. A person with a very less EQ is it becomes very difficult for him to manage in different situations. Very recently, people have started to realize that there is something more than EQ which is important, which is SQ or spiritual quotient. The spirituality is all about knowing or understanding who I really am. Am I the body? Am I the thoughts? Am I this hand? Am I my name? Who am I? That spiritual quotient. That has taken a much more bigger role than SQ for a lot of people who have already achieved it. But right now, let us now talk about emotional quotient, which is very, very important. See, till the time you graduate and complete your education, EQ doesn't play that important role because the more focus is on IQ. Okay? If you are intelligent, you can clear your exams, get good marks, you are happy. Okay? Your emotional quotient is taken care of. But once you start your real life, once you start working or once you start your entrepreneurial journey or you start your real life, that's when EQ plays an important role. You can't work alone, you always have to work in a team. You are talking to a lot of people, your seniors, your colleagues, subordinates, a lot of team members, outsiders. That's when EQ plays an important role. There will be a lot of situations in your work life where a lot of emotions will be running within you with people, and that's when this comes into play, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. Now let's understand what is emotional intelligence. See, emotional intelligence is our ability to accurately identify emotions in ourselves as well as others. Second, our ability to understand and manage emotions. And three, are we able to effectively communicate our emotional feelings? Now, if you have all these three components, you will be probably a person who is having a high EQ or emotional intelligence. One, understanding the emotions in not only yourself but others who are near and dear to you or around you. Two, managing these emotions and communicating the emotional feelings. I can give you a lot of examples of high EQ people. Actors, for instance, you know, a very good actor is able to bring tears in the audience's eyes. Audience are crying, but the moment director says cut or the scene is closed, he is not in that emotion. He is just out of it. He was just acting. Now, that's a sign of an emotionally intelligent person. A lot of actors have done that. Can make audience cry, laugh, bring out a lot of emotions, but they are not emotional. They are just in that role for that particular time. Now, that's a quality all of us should develop as human beings. You should be able to communicate your emotional feelings, but by you not being emotional, right? Understanding our emotions and also emotions in others. See, it's not enough to know what's going on inside me, but you should also know what is going on in people around you, with some person who's talking to you. Not every time other person will express the emotion by words. It can be body language, it can be just the eye movement, it can be a lot of things. You should use all your five senses to perceive the emotion in others, and that will not come very easily. You should be continuously in practice to understand the emotions and respond to them. Emotional intelligence is a sum total of five aspects, if you think, okay? What are those five aspects? Self-awareness, which we discussed in the beginning of this course, empathy, social skills, motivation, and self-regulation. Now, if you have all these five factors within you, you can have a very good emotional intelligence. You should be very well aware of yourself. You should be able to empathize with other people. Empathy is a topic which we have covered in certified course on communication, on effective communication. Understanding from the other person's perspective. Okay, should be able to get into the shoes of the other person and understand the situation. Not just understand, but act as well. Now that's empathy. Social skills is nothing but interpersonal skills, interpersonal relationships. How do you value the interpersonal relationships? How good are you in developing it and maintaining it? Motivation. Are you able to motivate yourself in all the situations? Are you able to motivate your team and other people by using your communication? Now that's called motivation. Last but not the least, self-regulation. See, being emotional is not negative, it's not a weakness. Please understand. I am also a very emotional person. For example, if I am watching a television serial or a movie which is very highly emotional, it's okay to have tears in your eyes. Okay, now that's being emotional. But what we are taught from the childhood is, for example, boys, hey, what is this here? You being a boy, you are crying. Now, boys don't have the license to cry or show emotions, girls can. Now, that is not true, okay? It is just the society which has made it like that. It's okay to show emotions. It is okay to be emotional. You should not be sensitive. There is a difference here. Being emotional is fine, being sensitive is not. Self-regulation is just that. You should know to regulate your emotions. You can display emotions for sure, but you should know when to display what kind of emotions in which situation. Now that's called self-regulation. Just to sum up, emotional intelligence is our ability to identify emotions in ourselves and in others, to understand and manage those emotions, and also to communicate the emotional feelings without we ourselves getting emotional. It is a sum total of five factors, which are self-awareness, empathy, social skills, motivation, and self-regulation. There are a lot of reasons for emotional outburst. Okay? Now, emotional outburst is not being emotional but being sensitive. I have listed few reasons for emotional outburst in both personal and professional situations. Reasons like, if you are very sensitive by nature, you can have an emotional outburst. There can be miscommunication between you and someone, because of which it can happen. It can happen because of rigid superiors. It can happen because of a lot of reasons which are listed on the screen right now. You can pause the video and go through these reasons. Now that we understood so many reasons for emotional outburst, Let us also understand few techniques to manage or cope with our emotions. Number one, take a break. Whenever you are filled with a lot of emotions, don't continue doing the same work you are doing. Take a break, and that will help you relax, come back to the normal, and then you can handle the situation very well. De-stress using fillers. Now, fillers are those which will help you reduce your stress. It can be talking to your family, listening to music, watching some movie, anything. So, identify the fillers and de-stress yourself using those fillers. Make sure you form a support system. Sometimes we are in a situation where we are not very close to our family. No issues. Form a support system, form some friends with whom you can share the issues you are facing in your personal and professional lives, and share. Sharing is very, very important. Don't keep everything to yourself. The biggest problem with people facing depression is they don't share with people. They think they are strong enough to handle all the situations in their life and they keep everything to themselves. Please don't do that. Share with your near and dear ones. Maybe they'll help you out with a solution, or just by sharing you'll feel a lot more lighter. Another method to manage your emotions is to delay your reaction. Whenever there is an emotional outburst, there is something which has happened because of which you are filled with emotions. Don't react immediately. We normally say this even in the topic of anger management. You should not react immediately. Hold back as much as possible. Whenever you feel that you want to shout on someone, don't do it. Just keep quiet and hold back your reaction. The more you delay your reaction time, the better you will get in managing your emotions and anger. Another few techniques of managing your emotions are effective communication, time management, and interpersonal relationships. Time management is something we have learned in this particular course. Effective communication and interpersonal relationships have been covered in certified course on effective communication. You need to be very, very good communicator in order for you to be emotionally intelligent. Also, remember that we are social beings. Develop and maintain interpersonal relationships with people. If you are able to do that well, you will be also able to control and manage your emotions better. Let us now learn some tools and techniques to manage your stress, to manage your emotions both. Alright? These techniques will also help in your time management. The first technique is understanding and utilizing your prime time. Now, what is prime time? When you are watching television channels, night 9 to 10 o'clock is known as prime time. That is the time when important programs or high TRP programs are aired. Programs like the News Hour of Arun or Kaun Banega Crorepati or popular serials, all these things come during that particular time slot in the evening. The reason being, the number of people who are watching the television at that point of time is the maximum. That's why it is called prime time. Now here I am not referring to the prime time of the television channel, but our own lives. All of us have something called a prime time in the 24-hour duration of a day. Now prime time is one slot, okay, where your activity levels and your enthusiasm and energy is the maximum. Now I cannot tell what is your prime time. You have to identify it yourself. Some of us are night people. That means after night 10:30, after everyone has gone to sleep, we become very active. Some of us are morning people. Night I will not be able to work, but early morning if I wake up, my energy levels are very, very high. Some people can be active during post-lunch sessions. Some people are very inactive during those times. So everyone is unique. You need to identify your prime time. For example, I am recording these sessions, right? I don't do it during my low times, but I do it during my prime times. Reason being, I will be able to deliver and record these sessions much more effectively if I am utilizing that time. Simply saying, if you are a morning person, don't wake up till late night. Sleep early, wake up early and utilize your prime time. Because if you are a morning person, you can do probably 2 or 3 times of work in 1 hour, which you can do probably in the other times of the day. So utilize your prime time effectively. The second technique or tool I can say to manage your emotions and stress is about multitasking. Many of us think that multitasking is a strength. People even write that in resume that I am a good multitasker. I normally say that multitasking is a myth, okay? See, if you are doing two things at the same time or two tasks at the same time, what is going to happen is you are not going to give your 100% to either of the tasks, okay? Take any simple example. You are talking on the phone, at the same time you are drafting an email, for example. You are not giving your 100% attention to the person you are speaking with, neither you are doing full justice to the mail you are writing. Talking on the phone and driving, okay, again the same thing. That's why a lot of accidents happen while you are doing these things. So normally if you think multitasking is not a strength, it's a myth. Don't multitask. Focus on one task at a time. That's something using which you can actually manage your time really well. Third technique is that of drainers and fillers. You know what are drainers? Drainers are those things, when you do those things you are absolutely stressed out. Fillers are those by doing which you are very relaxed and your stress levels come down. Now again, drainers or fillers are not standard. Everyone can have different drainers and fillers. For some, riding a two-wheeler, driving a car can be a filler. They are really energized and enthusiastic to do that. Some people may feel that it is a drainer for them. You should identify your own drainers and fillers. Reduce as much as possible drainers in your daily routine and fill your routine and schedule with as much fillers as possible. I enjoy listening to Bollywood music, for example. I should ensure that as much as possible I fill my time schedule of my 24 hours with these fillers so that my stress levels can be managed. I hope you understand this technique of drainers and fillers. Next technique I can talk about is A cube. Now A cube approach, I say that is the most effective approach to manage your stress levels. Now what is this A cube? There are three A's basically, and it forms a hierarchy. The first A is called as alter, second A is called as avoid, third A is called as accept. Now what do I mean is, any situation which is bringing stress in your life, always first try to change or alter that situation. It's very important. You should not take anything coming to you just like that. You should definitely try to change that particular situation. There are some situations which you cannot change, cannot alter. Like traffic, for example. Traffic stresses you out. You try to change the situation. Can you? No. Traffic is not in your hands, and you are not the traffic police commissioner of the city. You can't manage the traffic. So second option is to avoid. See if you can avoid the traffic by doing some kind of a time management, prioritization. Instead of going in the peak hour to your office, can you slightly change your shift and make sure that you are traveling when the peak hour traffic is over? Now that is called avoiding. And again, there are many situations which you cannot avoid also. What should you do? The biggest method to cope with your stress and emotions is to accept. There are many things and situations in your life which you cannot alter, which you cannot avoid. Accept it. Now, example, if you want, you might be stressed out with some behavior of your better half, your spouse. Now you have tried your best to alter that behavior, he or she is not changing. Can you avoid? No point of avoiding your spouse, right? Then what should you do? Accept. Acceptance is the biggest tool you have. Accept the person as he or she is and see everything is the same, nothing has changed, okay? He or she is behaving in the same way, you are also in the same situation, but you will be better equipped to manage that situation and also manage your stress levels and emotional levels. There is one more technique called affirmation and thought stopping techniques. You know what? There are some thoughts which we actually want our mind to have all the time. There are some thoughts which we don't want to have. There is some interesting saying somewhere I have read. It goes that mind, it is like a bull, and there are pushing you in that direction. So that means you need to have a lot of positive thoughts in your mind, right, in order for you and your day and whatever you are doing to be positive. So how should you do that? Now, what is affirmation? For instance, you want to achieve a lot of things. You are a very ambitious person. You have written your goals. You are working to achieve them. Whenever you achieve something, or whenever something happens which is good and it is supporting your vision, you should have something to give some affirmation to yourself. Some people say yes. So that's a very simple affirmation. Now, saying yes boosts your energy. At the same time, it will motivate you to do more and more. Now, it's not only this particular action, it can be any kind of action which you can take. If you are a big sweet lover, ensure that whenever you achieve something, even if it is a small thing, go and reward yourself with a chocolate. Your mind automatically will start thinking that if I want to have chocolate, I should achieve something like this, right? Now that's called affirmation. What is thought stopping? There are some negative thoughts which keeps coming in our mind, correct? We can't help it. Even if you are not trying to think about it, it keeps coming. Keep some kind of a negative reinforcement for that. Do something which you don't like. Probably slightly pinch yourself or slightly beat yourself. Do something which you don't like, okay? Now again, mind, what will it do? It knows that if I go back to that same negative thought, I'll get some kind of a negative reinforcement, and it will stop doing that. Now again, this thought stopping also can be of many types. I have just given you few examples. Have something which is not so pleasant for you as an experience, and your mind will tune yourself to not think in that particular direction. Now this technique is called affirmation and thought stopping technique. Last but not the least, meditation and physical exercise. Meditation, we have already gone through a very simple session on how you can do Aum meditation. Not only that, you can just sit, relax your body and mind, and sit quietly for say around 5 minutes in a day. Just trying to sit calmly, focusing on your breath. Even that can be done. What will happen? Your entire body and mind will be relaxed, and you'll be ready to face many more challenges which you are probably going to face in the next part of the day. Also, physical exercise, very very important. You might think that emotions and physical exercise doesn't have any link. It has direct consequence. There are many ailments which are psychosomatic. That means thought has a effect on the body. Your physical movements and exercise will have an effect on the thought. So it's a vice versa thing. So make sure you are spending good amount of time, at least 20 minutes to half an hour every single day on physical exercise and mental exercises like meditation. Now let us do a very simple and interesting activity called self-reflection. After you get to know the brief, pause the video and do this activity for 10 to 15 minutes. Sit in some quiet place, sit in a position which is very relaxed, okay? You can probably have your legs on the floor, or you can sit in a cross-legged position, whichever is convenient to you. Have your back straight. If possible, have this kind of a gesture or a hand gesture, and it should be placed on your lap. As free as possible, completely relaxed. Do the Aum meditation which we discussed in the earlier session. The same number, 7 A, 7 U, 7 Ums, and 21 Aums, okay? As long and as loud as possible, please take out the sound. Feel the vibrations in your, when you are saying A, vibrations here going down, U, vibrations starting from here going all the way to your center part of the body, and when you say vibrations starting from here and moving towards your head and ending in the edge or end of your nose. So once you are done with the meditation, what will happen? Automatically you will be in a state where you are very calm and poised. At this point, please give a good thought and think of any typical day of yours, a 24-hour slot, and think how do you spend your time. Morning, the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep, complete 24 hours, how do you spend? And try to check how many high priority activity you do. You all understand the prioritization matrix now based on urgency and importance. Understand and highlight all the high priority activities you are doing just in your mind. Okay, so these many high priority activities, and see how much time you are spending on it, and how much time on medium and how much time on low priority. Once you are done with this, just commit to yourself that you are going to do and focus on doing the high priority activities, delegating and delaying the medium priority activities, and deleting the low priority activities as much as possible. Okay, that's a commitment you will do in your own mind. If possible, after this activity you can also note it down with the date, that this is what I have done today, this is what it is, this is the amount of time I am spending on low priority, which I am going to reduce and make my high priority time in a day as big as possible. Once you are done with this, next thing you have to do in the same position, in the same poised mindset is, think of 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses of your own self. Which are the 3 biggest strengths? Think of any situation in your life when you have achieved something big and see what made you achieve that. You will be able to identify your strength. Similarly, when you failed, what made you fail? Was there some weakness which was working? So 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses is something you should be finalizing in this particular self-reflection activity. Also, after you do this, think of one long-term goal for yourself. Now, long-term is 10 to 15 years. What do you want yourself to be doing, or what do you want you to achieve in next 10 to 15 years? Think of it very clearly. Try to make it as smart as possible. You know what is SMART? It has to be a smart goal statement. Make it a smart goal statement. So this is the activity of self-reflection. Pause the video at this point. If you want, again go through the complete instructions and do the self-reflection activity for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Now let us come to the exercise and quiz for this particular course. Remember that doing this exercise and quiz is mandatory for certification. You all have done the self-reflection activity in the last session. Once you are done with this, make sure that you write top 3 strengths of yours and top 3 weaknesses. Also the long-term goal, what you have thought of, in the format which is SMART. Then think of a situation in your life where you were able to manage your stress and emotions very well, and a situation where you are absolutely not able to manage your stress and emotions. Please write down, after you have gone through this course, after you have learned all the tools and techniques and many other things in this course, if the same situation comes to you, how are you going to handle it in a better way? Link for the quiz, which is going to be 20 multiple choice questions to check your knowledge from the course, will be shared with those who are interested in certification. This is how the certificate will look like if you choose to get it, and of course this will be issued to those who have successfully completed the quiz as well as the case study or exercise which we have talked about. We are almost at the end of this course. Let me quickly summarize what all we have covered in this course. This course, certified course on emotional intelligence, it's a very comprehensive course on EI or EQ, focusing on 3 among the top 10 life skills as identified by World Health Organizations. Which are those 3 skills? Self-awareness, managing emotions, and managing your stress. We started this course with introduction to the course and course objectives. We then understood about self-awareness. We did a lot of activities. We were able to increase the awareness of ourselves. Then we got into coping with stress. What is stress? What are the reasons why the stress is caused? Is stress always bad? How to manage it? All this is what we learned there. Then we got into time management, one of the most important techniques in using which you can manage your stress. Then we got into emotional intelligence or managing emotions. We learned about what is emotional intelligence, how to develop it, some tools and techniques also we learned in order to manage and cope with your stress, emotions, and also for time management. We did a very interesting activity called self-reflection, where we meditated. We also spent some time to understand how we spend our time. We identified the strengths and weaknesses, also long-term goal for ourselves. Finally, we understood the case study and exercise or quiz which has to be completed for the certification of this course. That's it. So with this, we complete this course on emotional intelligence. Let us end this course with a quote. Always question yourself, whatever task you are doing, is it supporting the life which you are trying to create? People ask me that so many tasks we do every day, sometimes we tend to slip towards low priority activities. How to ensure that we are not doing it? Whatever tasks you are listing in your daily task sheet or your diary, just ask yourself, whatever this activity is this adding to my purpose of life? So if you start questioning every time, you will make sure that you are cutting all the low priority activities and start focusing on high and medium priority activities. Thank you so much for joining us for this very interesting course. Hope we were able to add good value to you. All the very best to you. Keep learning and keep growing. Congratulations on completing this online course.
What next? 1. Implement the learnings of this course in your personal and professional life. 2. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. 3. If you want to get certified, please do email us your interest.
In order to get certified, you need to complete the quiz and the exercise or case study as explained in the course. Please note that the price for e-certificate is Rs 399 and for hard copy certificate is Rs 699 plus GST.
The price is to cover our expenses of course creation and certification. Once you email us your interest, invoice will be sent to you. Post payment, receipt and the link for quiz will be sent. Post successful completion, certificate will be issued to you.
Getting the certificate as shown in the course is purely your choice. Thank you for choosing Arun's Academy for your learning needs. If you have any questions, clarifications, or in case of training requirements, please feel free to contact us. Please do write your feedback regarding the course.
We at Arun's Academy wish you all the very best. Keep learning and keep growing.